Hey, we are live. Hello, hello. Want to check see if the audio sounded decent. Hold on. Yep. That sounds good. That
Yep,
sounds
coming
good.
through
All
clear to
right.
me.
Coming through clear on my end as well. I'm gonna share it after I get through with this. But it's your boy Brogi Naric. How you doing? We are here to talk about a momentous occasion, a day I've been waiting for since he announced that he was going to do this in January. Jimmy Guns has taken over the DCU for DC Studios and Warner Brothers. He said by the end of January he's going to drop his new plans, and he waited to the last damn
The
day in
last
January,
minute, bastard.
last damn day, to let everybody know what the plans is. I got one of my guests here, AK Watch. AK, let the people know where they can find you.
What's going on, people? You can find me on my channel, AK Watch. I talk about random nerdy things throughout the year. I'm also on the Twitter streets, AK underscore DSO9, if you want to come and see me talk about random nonsense over there, too.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to be talking about the recent reveals of James Gunn's Slate. Probably have some other people hopping in and other people who might want to just randomly hop in. Sure, fuck it, I don't care. But we're going to be going over the highs and lows, the yays and nays, and what were we expecting, what we weren't expecting that was announced, and things that is still a little confusing because there are some things that he did not clarify, which I'm not too surprised by because that could interfere with, interfere with future movies that are supposed to be coming out at this time. And I get they don't want to mess those up by just saying that, oh, that's dead now, so don't worry about it. I get the idea that they don't want to do that. So
Yeah.
we're going to start off with James Gunn. If you haven't seen the video, he basically explains the DCEU is coming to an end. That's all the Snyder stuff. That's Wonder Woman 84, Man of Steel, uh, and Shazam. That's still coming out. They said the
Mhm.
Flash movie, Ezra Miller, is going to be when things are going to start to
Still coming out.
change, and still coming out. Which I'm not surprised at this point. Warner Brothers has told us it costs too damn much. They spend a lot of money on it. It's coming out. They did say, however, say that Ezra Miller might still be coming back. They haven't confirmed it. It's still wishy-washy. But for
I
now,
think
Ezra
he's
Miller's still on
likely
the
to do
project.
it.
I don't think so. I think they're just being
No.
nice until the movie's out. That's my opinion. I think they're being nice, but
We'll see.
they're just being nice and they're being sensitive about the whole situation because they could say he's gone and then that could set them off
They,
to
they, they.
destroy. Oh, sorry, they can destroy Wyoming. So they go keep
True.
Ezra. They go keep Ezra cool, like Ezra, cool out. You good? Okay. Hey, you taking your pills? Cool.
Like, are
So
you
they go.
sure you good?
Yeah, you're right. I think they're gonna keep Ezra on.
Keep him on
Keep
deck.
Ezra cool for now. Yeah, keep him cool. So then Aquaman, I guess, is still involved, and we all
Mhm.
saw Jason Momoa hooting and hollering about something big announcement coming up. We didn't hear anything involving him really. Besides, I think Saffron said they are gonna do. They're still gonna do Aquaman 3, like it's gonna be a trilogy. He was quoted as saying that like this was always intended to be a trilogy. So that's interesting. So I thought they would have stopped that too. But if Aquaman 2 comes out, makes $1 billion or close to $1 billion, I can see them, finishing out the trilogy. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Him being Lobo, we don't know. We don't know where that's going. So, but we're gonna go into. I'm gonna break it down for like the shows because he announced different series
Mhm.
and movies. So I'm gonna start with the series and stuff. But first of all, he did explain that the DCU and then DC Elseworlds are going to be two separate sort of movies coming out from Warner Brothers. So the Elseworlds movies would be the stuff like Matt Reeves' Batman 2 or Batman Part 2, Todd Phillips'
Mhm.
Joker. What is the thing called? I forget what it's called. Joker 2. I'm just gonna call it Joker 2.
Yeah,
Whatever the
I think
little.
it's just Joker too. Yeah, they don't have any extra name at
It's
this point.
something. It's something else after
Was
it, but
it?
yeah, do la fool something. I don't know. I can't pronounce it. It's some French word. It's some sort of mental thing. Teen Titans
Right.
Go is also it. Elseworlds. They're not getting rid of Teen Titans Go. It makes too much money, and I don't blame
Way
them.
too much
It
money.
makes too much money. They're not
Actually, a
letting it
decent show
go.
too.
I've seen some episodes. I like it, but it
Mhm.
is what it is. Good for them. It's for the kids or whoever likes it. It's fine. I don't care. It's sticking around. They're making that money. I'm not mad at them. They also said that the Black Superman thing with J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates is still happening. For some reason, they're
Okay.
not letting it go. Whatever. Good for them. I don't care, but whatever. And I'm assuming that when they announce Constantine too, that's going to probably be an Elseworlds as well. Would make sense if you're going to keep with what's his name, Keanu Reeves. I'm assuming
Keanu
that's the
Reeves.
Elseworlds as well. So
It would have to
yeah,
be
with the
if they
Constantine too.
saying everything's connected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm assuming that's going to fall on the Elseworlds as well, which is fine by me because I'm not. The movie's good. Like I don't hate the movie or
Yeah, I
anything,
like that
but
Constantine movie. I
yeah,
hope
yeah.
that Rachel Weisz is coming back for it too.
Yeah, and Tilda Swinton, and because they got the director coming
Hmm.
back, so it is what it is on that. Now, chapter what was it? Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. I like that it's called Chapter 1. That's cool. Instead of Phase 1, Stage 1, whatever the hell they want to call it, it's Chapter
Yeah,
1,
they got to
Gods and Monsters.
differentiate a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We already got DC Studios, Marvel Studios, and all that. What you got?
Low key have beef with that name though. It's not a whole lot of gods and monsters in this category.
There's a couple. There's a couple.
Not enough to name the whole over arc of the chapter gods and
Yeah,
monsters. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I get that. It sounds odd, but you break it down. Superman could be a god. Amanda Waller could be viewed as a monster. Swamp Thing, monster. Creature Commandos,
Mm,
monsters. Green Lanterns, gods, I guess. Batman could be a monster. Who knows? I don't know. It's whatever.
yeah.
Amazons are gods. It's loosely there. It's something. It's
It's
whatever.
loose. I mean, I hope they're a little more cohesive with how they pull this
Right.
all together though.
It's something. I guess I
Make it
don't
make
know, but
sense, James. That's all I
make
ask.
it
Make
make
it make
sense.
sense.
One of the things I did like was when he was explaining in the video was how certain characters are going to be based on different runs from the comics, and he was naming those
Mm,
people who worked on those comics, and some of those people who worked on those comics are actually writers here. Like one of the ones is
yeah.
Tom King; he's helping out the write. Drew Goddard, who worked on Daredevil, is helping to
Hmm.
write, which I think is pretty awesome. There was a couple of other names, like what's her name, Christina Hodson, who's been working with them for a while, so she's still in the mix. So, and James Gunn said they're writer focused. They're working on the screenplays. If the scripts aren't looking too good, they're not going to rush it into a movie. Which I appreciate that. That
Would yeah.
sounds good.
Take the time
Yeah.
to do it right.
Hopefully, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully they'll keep that energy. But it sounds good for now. But let's hope they keep that energy. That's a good
Hmm.
place to start. We're going to focus on getting the story together, getting the script together before we do anything. Also, James Gunn says like he's not going to be directing everything. He's producing. He's executive producer. Going to get other creatives to come in and try to have different vibes and different feels that can be unique, but also cohesive. We've
He
heard
did
that
make sure
before,
to he did make sure to let everybody know which one specifically. Yeah, so I'm writing this one. I might
yes,
direct
he
it, but
did.
I don't know. But I was like,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
okay, you got your favorites, bro. I get it. I
yeah.
get it.
He definitely has his favorites, and some people will be mad at that, and I guess it's understandable. But some people. I mean, it is. He's in the
I
driver's
think
seat.
that's with every creator. You're gonna
Yeah,
have your faves that you absolutely want to make sure you have all of your hands in on. So
yeah.
I totally get that. He's a fan of these things, and he wants to make sure these at least these few specific ones, as much time as he can give to them, he will. He cares about the overall world, but you can tell where his faves are.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's clear by certain people that he's keeping and not keeping. So
He said he's not getting rid of any of his people now. His people
basically,
is a loose definition, I guess, but
yes,
yeah, people that he wants, he's absolutely going to hold on to.
yeah, and I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him for
No.
that. So one of the first things they mentioned was Creature Commandos, which was something
Hmm.
that I just had a feeling he was going to do. Although a lot of people don't know what the Creature Commandos are. Um, they're basically just like this weird. It was like weird experimentations during World War II. It's kind of like Suicide Squad, where they're just these weird soldiers, but they were experimented on, and turned into monsters. They're not initially monsters; they just
Yeah.
turned into monsters. Now there are versions where they are actual monsters, and I think they're doing a blend. Um, Judging from the photo that they had with they had Frankenstein, Frankenstein's bride, and Weasel from the Suicide Squad movie is in it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that they mentioned, which I think is interesting, I want to see how they keep this, but they're going to try to cast for their shows and their animated shows. I don't know if it's
The
necessarily for video
same
games.
people. Yeah.
Try to keep the
No,
same people.
he said video games too.
Video games too? Okay.
It's gonna be connected, yeah.
So if you're doing a voice in the show, they're going to try to cast you as someone who can also do the character in live action for the most part. And I think that's really good idea. That's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Keep it cohesive, keep it feeling, together. I think that's if they can pull that off, I think that's going to be a great strategy to hold this down. So Reach Commandos, and if it's not clicking, think Hellboy. Think Hellboy. It's like Hellboy.
Yeah, Hellboy on 9,000, pretty much.
Yeah,
there's Hellboy and like all of his cousins.
Basically, yeah, that's the easiest way I can kind of make it make sense to a degree. The next one that he mentioned, which is another one that was pretty obvious, which was Booster Gold. Like, you hear James Gunn, you're gonna get Booster Gold. Like, that's obvious.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna pull Chris Pratt over for that too.
I hope not, but
because
it's possible.
Why even do Booster Gold? Honestly, out of all the characters, all the B-level characters that you could get, why this guy first?
He makes more sense than fucking Peacemaker, and he made that pop. So it's like Booster Gold actually had like more runs and has done more than Peacemaker, and he made Peacemaker popular. So I can see him pulling up Booster Gold in the sleep. That's like easy money right there, in my opinion.
True enough. I mean, and I can see Chris Pratt starting in that because there's already been rumors that he was going to be doing something with DC after Guardians, and he's shooing for that.
He is. For some reason, I thought he would be a Green Lantern, not Hal Jordan, but like I can see him as like not Hal Jordan, but I can see him as a Guy Gardner.
Hal Jordan has nothing to do with it. Just no.
Yeah. I can see him as Guy Gardner, just asshole Green Lantern, but like him as Booster, I could see it. My pick has been Zac Efron for a while, but it is what it is. They could team him up with
like the Playboy jerk off that does still kind of want to do good, but he's all about it.
That's what I'm saying. Zac Efron
can't pull that off.
Good.
I get that.
That's mine. But hopefully they'll team him up with Blue Beetle. I know or the Jaime Reyes one. It doesn't matter.
They're doing something with Blue Beetle, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing the movie, the third version, the Mexican version, but he was close with the second version. Ted Core.
Who would you cast for that? For Beetle?
What was his name? Is it Max Greenfield? He plays Schmidt on New Girl. He's on the show The Neighborhood. I did a video about the Justice League International years ago.
What's the last name?
Greenfield, I think is his name. He was on New Girl. He played Schmidt. Got dark hair.
He's Spanish?
He just changed his hair. No, he's Jewish.
Oh, didn't you say that the Blue Beetle character, was the
second one? I'm talking about the second Blue Beetle. This Blue Beetle on the screen. The second Blue Beetle. The third Blue Beetle is
I know this guy's face. All right.
Yeah. That would be my pick. I think he'd be good. He's funny. He's fit, kind of. Well, not kind of.
Yeah, he pulls off the comedy. I've seen enough of the New Girl. No, he pulls off the comedy pretty decently.
Yeah, so that would be my pick. But yeah, Booster Gold would be dope. He's from the future. He's basically like he's a failed athlete in the future.
Yeah,
and he's like, screw it, I'm gonna go in the past and try to be a superhero. And he sucks at that kinda. And he has to, he's a dick. He's a dick. He's in it for the money and the fame. But over time, he learns to be a better superhero. And then you can get into the weird timey-wimey wackiness with time travel and all of that. So Booster Gold, like
technology.
And his technology. Some of it is stolen. That's the other stuff. He can fly, but it's only because he stole one of the Legion of Superheroes rings. And so that's kind of like a storyline where they come back to the past to get their ring back and all of that. It's got like a little robot sidekick. He's a fun character. Like I said, he's a fun character. They've been talking about a Booster Gold movie for a while, so now it's a show. I think that's the best place for it. Could lead to Justice League International. I don't know. That would be cool. Who knows? Chapter
They
2, Justice League
seems.
International.
I feel like with the lineup that we have, and we'll get it into more of it throughout the video, it could already be leading up to that. Because James Gunn's good at making the plans for his universes and how he would like to see them go. So I could see it definitely going down that road.
Yeah,
It'd be interesting.
He's cool with that writer too. The guy that one of the writers that helped write that. So I think he would definitely try to do something for them. He likes their work. Some of this other stuff that he's picked is based on some of their work too. So
yeah,
I can totally see him doing that. Next one was Paradise Lost, which was the one focusing on the Amazons, which I will admit, hearing about it, this is probably my least favorite announcement, mainly because it's a prequel, and I would have preferred to see something that actually involved Wonder Woman, but
yeah,
it could work. It could work,
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a chance to see what he does with it. But yeah, I agree. We know essentially what all this is going to lead up to, but the way he framed it, he said it was going to be a struggle for power, in the style of Game of Thrones. So
yes,
my interest is piqued. I'm like, oh, okay.
That sounds cool.
And it's called Paradise Lost. So yeah, a bunch of people gonna be fighting and vying for control. So let's see where this goes. And impress me, James, please.
Yeah, and hopefully it will have more of the myth. I'm gonna assume that it's James Gunn, unlike with
more of the mythology. Yeah,
more of the mythical stuff, the gods, the creatures, all of that. Like, I thought that was weird that they did that in the first Wonder Woman, where they just got rid of all of that for the most part. It was very weird that they chose that. So yeah.
Yeah, they have to show all of the mythology in there, because if you're going to focus on the mascara, and actually it also depends on what form of Wonder Woman this is essentially going to lead to. Because if they do it with how the premise of the movies, Gal Gadot will not be returning, unfortunately. Then they're going to have to deal with the half goddess that Wonder Woman actually is. She's a demigod.
Yeah, demigod. Well,
Zeus is her dad.
Also,
so how are they
doing that version?
That in? That's what I'm saying. It depends on what version of Wonder Woman we're doing. Yeah. We'll decide how much of the Greek pantheon and all of that whole aesthetic is going to be used for this show.
Yeah. So yeah, Amazon's. This is different from there was talks they were going to do an Amazon show a while back. This is a different version of that. It's not the exact same.
I remember seeing the pilot for that Wonder Woman show, and it was trash. I'm glad it didn't make it.
Yeah, this is different from that other announced Wonder Woman thing. But yeah, Game of Thrones vibe. I mean, it's Warner Brothers too, so if they put money into it, should be pretty all right. It should be pretty solid.
We should hope.
Yeah,
I hope they do it justice.
Yeah. The next one, which we talked about, was the Amanda Waller, the Waller series. They're keeping Viola Davis. Sister Girl ain't going nowhere. This had been rumored. I had heard the rumors that they were planning to do either a movie or like that was going to be a big overarching plot line would be Amanda Waller trying to cover up her getting exposed. Did you see the end of Peacemaker?
Yeah. Because she's got to answer for that, because that's info that came from her daughter. So they're not. You can't easily dismiss that. Yes. And she's not going to have her daughter assassinated. So yeah, how you going to deal with that fallout?
True. Well, they said that this series is going to take place in between Peacemaker 1 and season 1 and 2. So this is her dealing with the fallout of Peacemaker.
Peacemaker is getting a season 2.
That's what is being reported. Low key,
I didn't hear that part.
Well, they essentially implied it's being implied that it's being continuing because it's in between. I think he's going to shelve that and focus more on this, and he's got other shit to worry about now. So he's doing the Wallace series. It should be cool. They said the team from Peacemaker is coming back. So basically, essentially the same cast is coming back for this show as well. Which should be interesting because she does not fuck with those people. So I don't know what that's going to
No, not at all.
That's going to be like. So, yeah. We could. I remember it was rumored that Deathstroke could potentially be someone she works with because she needs a new team, basically, since her old team is gone and her other team is exposed, so she needs a new team. We could have Deathstroke being someone she hires, or someone like that, like some other great assassin coming in to
Mm-hmm.
help her cover up all her dirty work. Could be very good, especially if it's. I don't know if James Gunn's writing this one. He didn't say. He probably is. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he didn't say anything about that one.
Right, but they did say. No, they said who did they? Someone else is working on it. The one lady that worked on the Watchmen show, and someone who worked on another show. Hold on, let me look through the article. Okay, it was Crystal Henry from Watchmen and
Okay.
Jeremy Carver, the creator of Doom Patrol, so the TV
Okay.
series. So
Two great
that's
shows.
two very good shows. Someone whose work I'm familiar with, so I'm confident that I
Yeah,
haven't watched
here for
Doom
that.
Patrol, so I'm very confident that that should be very good. Now, another one that we've been waiting for, we had heard it's been in development for a while. They scrapped it, they brought it back at something different, and that is the Lanterns.
Yes.
Which I don't know why
Yes.
they called it Lanterns and not just call it Green Lanterns. I mean, it's
Big. Well, he said there's going to
right.
be other multiple lanterns coming
Yeah,
in, so we don't know if those are going to be green, just other green lanterns, or if they're going to introduce some of the other colors.
that's a good point. I didn't consider that, but the craziest thing they said this is going. Now, I always thought it should have either a lethal weapon or a training day vibe. If it's going to be like one Green Lantern with like an evil Green
Mm.
Lantern, like Sinestro or something. But they said they're going for a true detective vibe, specifically season one, and that's interesting.
That could be very interesting to play with. Very
Yes,
interesting to play with. And I like that
Cal.
they have. We're finally going to get John Stewart, and
Yes,
they're. It's not going to
correct.
be like a one or the other. Hal against
Right,
John,
right.
who's going to be more popular. They're putting them both in, so I really
Putting them
like that.
together. Yes, they're working on some sort of weird sci-fi mystery. It's still going to be around Earth, but it's going to be, something sci-fi involved.
Yeah,
So we
I'm
don't
here
know
for it.
exactly what it is. Now, the interesting thing to me is the image they chose are these images right here, because this
Hmm.
is from a comic called Green Lantern Earth One, and
Yeah,
Earth One
I
is
remember
is
that.
an Elseworld. It's essentially an Elseworld story, and the Green Lanterns in this story are not completely different, but they work different. The powers, you know how like in the Green Lantern is you have to have strong will. If you're yellow, you
Hmm.
have to have fear. If you're red, you have to be very angry or whatever. In this version, that's not really a factor. It's just if you got a ring, you can use it regardless of what color it is. I don't know if they're
Color. Hmm,
necessarily,
interesting.
yeah, I don't know if they're necessarily taking from this, but it was interesting that this was the image that they chose to showcase this. Because as you
Hmm.
see, they don't have masks. Neither of them are wearing masks, and their costumes are very sort of standard. Like they're not overly, spandexy looking or
They're
whatever.
not the
It's
they're
much
not the extra that we got in the movie.
right, right. It's much more of a grounded sort of take on the Green
It
Lantern
looks more
concept. I don't.
practical.
Right, you're very more practical. So I don't know if that's the way they're going with it, but I thought that was interesting. Yeah, Green Lanterns, I'm excited. I would have preferred they scrap the show and make a movie, but if they're gonna do a show, hopefully it has a good enough budget
And
to
they
warrant
flesh
this.
everything out.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, that was a good announcement. Now getting into the movies, I'm gonna start with this one, which is an old classic. He's coming back to the big screen. They gave him a show, and then they canceled it right after the first episode. And that's Swamp Thing, which
I
is
heard about that. I still have yet to go back and watch that show. It's on my list,
yeah.
but I was real surprised after hearing that it was canceled that quickly.
Well,
Because
it
how
was
do you mess
canceled
up Swamp
because
Thing?
well, they didn't mess it up. It was more of a tax thing. They filmed it in Louisiana, and they thought they were going to get a
Mm.
certain because the show was very expensive, and they thought they were going to get a big tax break. But then the government was like, "No, we're not going to pay for this." So then that was when they canceled it because they were going to lose
Wow,
money off of it basically. So that was the reason why they canceled it. But from what I've heard,
that's
it's a good show, and they put it on CW after they took it off the DCU app, and it didn't stick around. But it wasn't coming back. They canceled it because you know the money on
mm.
it. But they turned it into a movie. I liked the first movie back in the '80s. I never saw the sequel. Oh no, I did see the sequel. That was ass. First movie was kind of fun, but Swamp Thing coming back, that makes sense. I wouldn't say he's popular, but he's definitely popular amongst a certain segment of DC,
I think so.
you know. And he's got a unique look. And they said this is going to be a horror movie, He did say this is going to have a darker
Oh, so
tone.
we're getting 2 horror movies then.
Yes,
Interesting.
yes,
Okay.
yes. He said this one is definitely going to be horror. It's going to have a darker tone than the other DCU stuff, but it's still going to be connected. So I like that we're going to have certain things going to have a darker
Yeah.
tone, but it's still connected to the DCU. Unlike Marvel, where everything's got to be PG-13. He's saying, look, we're going to have some stuff that's going to be rated R. We'll have some stuff rated PG-13.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they're
I'm
connected, they're
still
connected.
waiting to see
And I
what
like that. I
Marvel's going to
like
give us
they're
as
willing to
far as
go there.
Deadpool for the ratings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, That's damn. That's right. That's a very good point.
We got
Yeah,
it. They said it's
you
going to
got.
be R. We'll see though.
They've
Won't be the
they've
first time we
hinted.
get disappointed.
Yeah, they've heavily hinted it might be R. Maybe who knows? I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see. We'll see. But yes, Swamp Thing being a little more gritty would be great because like the old school movie, I remember seeing that as a kid. I loved it. I didn't
Yeah,
know that there was a part 2.
yeah. They made a second one. It's not. It's much less lower budget than the first one, and it's not as
Hmm.
good. It's very
Yeah,
kind of.
because in anything with Swamp Thing, the story has to be right. If you don't have a good story, then overall the whole thing's gonna suck.
Yeah, and I haven't read much of Swamp Thing. I know there's different runs. There's the Alan Moore run. I think
Hmm.
Grant Morrison worked on it a little bit. There's different runs. There's the New 52 version. I don't know what versions they're taking because there's
Yeah,
versions.
they didn't. He didn't say which version.
Yeah, there's a version where he's a human that's turned into a plant monster. There's the version where he's always been a plant monster that kind of is bonded with a human. It's different versions of Swamp Thing.
Hmm.
But he's all powerful elements and elemental protector of the environment and
Yep,
stuff like that. So he's an interesting character, and it's gonna
very.
be interesting to see what they do with that character. Another one I did call this, but not this particular story or anything. But oh wait, Supergirl,
Mm.
Woman of Tomorrow. This is going to be a movie. Now, I did speculate they would do something with Supergirl. I was not thinking of this particular story. This is a fairly new storyline that came out, I think, like 2 years or a year ago.
One that a lot of people love. Like
Yes,
there's a lot of folks I know that said this is like the best run of Supergirl that
I have.
they've read.
Tom King wrote this. Tom King is a somewhat controversial writer, but I have not heard a bad thing about his run
Hmm.
on this Supergirl story. And the
Yeah,
fact that they're using
everyone that I
this,
know that read it says it's
yeah,
amazing.
if they're using this as the basis for a Supergirl movie, that should be interesting. That should be really
And
fucking
this
dope.
is supposed to be the other rated R movie that they're doing.
Really? Okay. I
Yeah.
see.
So
Okay.
I'm very interested in seeing where they take that because this Supergirl is not the usually happy go lucky Supergirl I think that most everyone is used to.
Right. She
This one's
does.
been through some stuff.
She goes through some things in the storyline. From what I
Yes, she
remember,
is very jaded.
yeah, because as James Gunn said, like this is a different Supergirl. Clark was a baby when his planet blew up, and he grew up on Earth, so he doesn't have the trauma. She was alive when the planet blew up. She survived through it, and she was dealing with that before she got to Earth and
Yeah, yeah,
try to
she's on.
change her life.
It's I don't even think she stayed on Krypton per se, but it's like he said specifically she grew up on a chunk of Krypton. So there's
Yeah,
just like some portion of the planet that was just like this huge hood,
yeah.
I guess,
It
of dangerous
depends.
things. And by the time she gets to Earth, she's seen everyone that she loves die in some horrible way.
Yeah, sometimes with Supergirl, she's either from Krypton or she's from like the sister planet of
The
Krypton,
Yeah,
like in the cartoon, or she's in what's it? Shit, what's that? Candor?
yeah, the
It's like that city that gets shrunk
Candor.
down by
I believe it's Candor.
they get shrunk down by
Yeah, the
Brainiac. So
city in the bottle.
it depends whatever version, but from what I remember in this story, she's just turning 21. She goes to
Mhm.
this planet where there's a red sun so she can get drunk, and then something happens and she ends up bumping into this girl, and she has to help her and protect her, but she's still weak, a little weak. Like she's got her powers, but not all of them. So she's a
Mhm.
little vulnerable, and she's fighting these creatures and these people that are able to kill her. So she's got to put her life at risk. So from what I heard, it's a very good story, and I just was not expecting
Nice.
them to go this direction. We don't know. It seemed like it was going to keep her, but I've heard from some other people with insider information that they might not be keeping Sasha Kylie. They might be
Yeah.
recasting, which
Yeah, I've heard that most people are thinking that she's not going to be coming back at all either.
right, which sucks. But I haven't seen her performance in the Flash movie. Maybe it's very good. I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of they might be keeping her, they might not. But from what I've been hearing, they're not going to keep her, which sucks to hear that. But it is what it is on that one. I was
Yeah.
expecting Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes, which they could do if this is a franchise. That could be the sequel. I don't know, but
There's a way that they maybe could be leading up to that.
yeah,
We don't know exactly what the whole premise of any of these things completely is going to be just yet. So this might be just some of the building blocks that'll mash it out later.
yeah. So Supergirl, that was a fire. Oh wait, is Alex? What did Alex say? Alex said, "Hey guys, I'm sorry if I couldn't make it. If y'all are still streaming around 9 p.m., I think I can jump on. Hey, that is. I don't know if we will be, but
Yeah, 9 p.m. By 9 p.m. I will definitely have to go because I already have another stream scheduled
well, there you
at
go.
that time. Sadly.
I might still be here. Yeah, I might still be here, Alex. I don't know, but probably not because I might be a little hungry. Who knows? But thanks for popping through. Hit the like button, please. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, so Supergirl, like I said, was not expecting that. Well, no, I was expecting that, but this version was not expecting that.
Mm.
The most surprising thing, like that was like out of the blue, but knowing James Gunn, it makes. Oh wait, shit! I thought I cut that off. But knowing James Gunn, it made complete sense when you really think about it, and that is the Authority.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this group.
I know very little. They're basically
They're interesting though.
yeah, they're like the Justice League. They're like a darker take on the Justice League. Stop me if you heard this before. It's the Justice League, but they're assholes. You ever heard of that idea before? You ever heard of that concept, the
I
Justice League, but
I do
assholes?
I do
Yeah,
believe so.
yes, we've seen that before, but that's basically
Interesting.
what they are. But they're like some of the pioneers of the Justice League with assholes. We've had the
Okay.
Justice version, we've had the Squadron Supreme and all of that, but they're like that. But they basically are superpowered beings who handle things their own way, but they don't just fight villains; they fight governments. Like they really go in
Yeah, they're
shit down. That's kind of how that's their get down.
they're very much by any means necessary
Basically,
to
yes.
protect whatever it is that they're protecting at that point in time.
Right, but they're
Is
also
what I've
fallible.
heard.
They're also hypocritical as well. So they have their issues as well.
As a lot of heroes are.
Yes, yes. It's created. It was created through Wildstorm, which was owned or partially owned by Jim Lee. He had it, sold it to DC, and DC's for since the New 52 really have been trying to integrate these characters into the DC universe.
Hmm.
It's been written by a lot of very popular creators over the years, so they have a lot of really good stories and interesting characters. All of which I have not read, but I know loosely about them. The main two I know about are oh, I thought I had the image. I guess I didn't save it. But Apollo and Midnighter, who are kind of like their versions of Batman and Superman, and
Okay.
they're a gay couple. That's one of the unique things about them. They are a couple, and they're both like
Interesting.
yeah, they're both like altered, like they're genetically altered, and he's like a Superman type, and he's like a murderous Batman. Basically, if you wanted Zack Snyder's dark version of the Justice League, they're kind of giving you that, but with the appropriate characters, the appropriately
I
dark,
can dig it.
established characters. Um, my only worry about this is there's going to be a lot of comparisons to the boys with this, to a degree, because it's
Hmm.
the boys
Yeah,
are much more out there, more radical than the Authority, but there's sort of some.
I can see how they would be some get because I did look up a little bit on some of their power sets.
Mhm.
So yeah, I can totally see how they would absolutely be compared to the boys, not just in demeanor, but also in how they're made. Because they're,
Yeah.
not all of them are born with their powers. There's some very sciencey things that happen to some of them
Mhm.
that they
Yeah. I think.
all that they did on their own to get this way. So
Gotcha.
I'm definitely going to be interested in learning more about them.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely like the radical sort of hardcore thing that I would expect James Gunn to do, but just not right off the bat. Just like, we're doing the Authority. I was like, what the like what? I was reading the
It's
article.
kind of reminiscent to how he did Guardians of the Galaxy on Marvel's side.
A little bit. Yeah,
It fits his MO. You're right.
Yeah. Now, them being a team, since we didn't get a Justice League, and I've been watching a lot of people kind of speculate, and I do think that the Authority are going to be a pre-existing team that have maybe been around for a while, and the newer heroes are going to rise up to fight them. Basically, I think that's where we're going with this. Could be, could not be. I don't know, but it's been rumored that this is going to be a take on the storyline. What's it called? What's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way? It was an animated movie called Superman versus the Elite, where it was basically Superman versus this very hardcore team of villains, and they like killing and they don't give a shit about anything, and Superman has to show them like, not being an asshole is actually good, and you should do that.
Better.
It's better, yeah. And I think they're gonna somehow adapt those two things into its own movie, which sounds like a decent idea. That sounds like it could be interesting, but we got to see how they go about it. But yeah, like I said, the Authority I was not expecting.
I like it because these are some of these are characters that I have no knowledge of. I've not seen before. So yeah, give me you want to start fresh and clean. Yeah, bring out some stuff that's little known to people. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, it could be really cool.
Because how many times have we rehashed all the main heroes?
Yeah.
Not that I'm tired of seeing them at all. I'll always want to see them, but give me something a little extra too. So I like what he's doing here so far.
Yeah, I'm all cool with that as well. And it's like I said, it's got that edge to it. It's got that crazy edge to it. And I'm assuming most of this is going to be rated R. Like this is going to be some of that like hardcore, like they're not messing around type stuff. But next one would be, we got the title we knew he was working on the Superman movie, but we got the title Superman Legacy.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's a decent title. I'm fine with that. And he said this is going to be the official start of Chapter 1. Like Chapter 1 is going to start here. Flash is going to kind of reboot it, but Chapter 1 starts with Superman Legacy. And
this July 2025.
July 2025, maybe, because these none of these dates are concrete, but these are just what they have in their mind. So July 2025, which I think is cool. It's close to the 4th of July when it's coming out, so that's cool. James Gunn might direct this. Now I'm cool with him writing. I'm not interested in seeing him direct this movie. That's just me personally. I love James Gunn as a director. Yeah, I don't, because if he does botch it, that's gonna fuck everything up, and I don't want him to be the one.
True.
Not directing it gives him plausible deniability. He's like, "Hey, I wrote it. I didn't direct it. I produced it, but we keep it going." But if he writes and directs and seals his stamp of approval, and it fucking fails, I don't need him to set him up for that. You know what I'm saying?
True enough.
That's just my thought process. But this is going to be focused on a younger Superman early in his career, and it's not an origin story, but when he's struggling with being, his Kryptonian identity and his human identity. Stuff we've seen or at least heard of before, but he's going to be his kindness in a world that thinks that kindness is old fashioned. He's trying to be, a pillar of righteousness, which sounds like some Superman shit to me. I don't know about you. That sounds like some Superman shit to me. Looking forward to it. And I do think, in terms of directors, I'd be fine with Brad Bird. He did The Incredibles. I'd be fine with Brad Bird. And a lot of people want Ben Affleck to direct a Batman movie. I would think he would be really good at directing Superman. Well, he did play Superman. There was that movie he did a while back called was it Hollywoodland or something like that? He played George Reeves, and he got really into the character. And he likes Superman. He has a good visual style. he could do I mean, like I've seen his stuff. He can do a Batman movie, but I think an even cooler sort of curveball would be him doing the Superman movie. But that's just me.
Interesting.
He can do the Americana stuff just as well as the rest of them. He gives an even grittier appeal of Americana. Look at what was the movie? The Town. You know how in Boston and all of the, how real that was. I think
Yeah.
that vibe to a Superman movie would be kind of cool. But that's just me. How you feeling about any of this Superman legacy
I mean,
stuff?
I'm here for the story. It sounds like it's all the epitome of what Superman is. So to start there, yeah, makes sense. It's a sound decision.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Gunn is. I think he's hitting the ground running, and he's making some really smart moves here. So, I am going to just sit and let my happy little nerd self wait and be amazed. And pretty sure I'll be amazed with some of these things.
Yeah,
Not all in for all of them just yet, but
right.
I like the direction he's going in.
Right. Now, another thing that was interesting, someone had asked him at the event about Henry Cavill and what's going on with that. Now, James Gunn said when he started working on this, Cavill was not in his mindset. He was already not thinking about Cavill. He said, I didn't fire Henry Cavill. He was never hired. At least on his end, he never hired the man. So he's definitely putting the blame on the previous regime. And I'm assuming his managers and and the Garcias and all of that. So he's like, look, I ain't had nothing to do with that. I was focusing on my own Superman. Cavill was the one that came up
BS on that though. I'm gonna call BS on that though.
It's a little shaky. It's a little shaky.
That's a bit of a cop out, I think.
It's a little shaky.
I think he knew he can get away with that because he could very easily put blame someplace else. I mean, like if it really wasn't supposed to be happening and whatnot, I don't see James Gunn going and starting any of these projects without actually making his intentions completely known to the higher ups and what he wanted to do. I think they thought that they could strong arm him into doing it, and he just said, "Nah, I don't want him." So it makes it look like all the blame is on those guys, but no, I'm fully sure he was with that decision too. I'm not giving him a pass. Like, nah, dude.
I got some quotes for you. We didn't fire Henry. Henry was never cast. For me, it's about who do I want to cast a Superman and who do the filmmakers we have want to cast. And for me, for this story, it isn't Henry. He added, I like Henry. I think he's a great guy. I think he's getting dicked around by a lot of people, including the former regime of this company, throwing some shade and somebody under the bus. But this Superman is not Henry for a number of reasons. I'm interested to see what those reasons are. Is there going to be a distinct reason for why he felt the need to not recast Henry Cavill? I personally, I'm fine with them. Yeah, it's the time.
It's the timing that pulls it in because y'all had this man make the announcement that he was coming back. And then, what was it, just a couple days?
It was the next day. It was the next day.
The next day.
James Gunn is like, hey, I'm running DC.
Like, oh, nah, what happened was, nah, bro, come on, man. That's real shady.
It was bad. So, yeah.
Too sketchy, Gunn. I mean, I get it, but come on now. Y'all didn't have to do that.
Yeah. And another interesting thing, even though we're focusing on the younger Superman, a lot of the imagery that they showed in the video focused on the All-Star Superman storyline, which is one of the great Superman stories, but it also focuses on the last days of Superman. So it's interesting that, that's the imagery that they're using if they focus on the young Superman, but they show the imagery of one of the stories that focus on his last days. So I don't know. Maybe they're just going for that vibe because that Superman is very powerful, but he's also very like loving and a caring guy. So maybe that's what he's trying to invoke with that. But it's definitely a different vibe. Yeah, definitely a different vibe from what we got from the Snyder version. So it's going to be interesting to see with all of that. But all of that sounds decent. Like, I mean, it sounds really good outside of Gunn directing. But they've been very hush hush about that. And the last thing, the last movie that was announced, which when it was being leaked the other day, there was a lot of people saying, "Oh, Batman's coming back, but it's going to be Damian and Nightwing," and I'm like, "What the like? Why would we do that? That sounds weird." But they were half right. We're getting Batman. We're getting the Brave and the Bold with Batman and Robin, but it's
Yeah,
Bruce
yeah. And
Wayne
it's
and
Damian Wayne.
his son Damian, which I'm not the biggest
I
fan of
don't know
Damian
that we should
Wayne.
start with Damien.
There's some pluses.
Damien's a
Yeah,
dick.
he's an asshole. Damien is a fucking asshole.
Such a
I've
dick.
heard that they've written his character a little bit better in recent years, but when he started out, he was a fucking asshole. Just the worst.
So,
He
and he
Go
comes
ahead.
along like he comes along after a decent line of Robins. I'm like, how much of Batman's story are we really going to see if we're starting with Damien already?
Well, there's some pluses and some minuses.
Because
If
why
we're
not
starting, yeah.
Jason Todd?
Well, that's the thing. If we start with Damien, that implies, and they did say they're going to focus on the Bat family. If we're starting with Damien, that implies that a lot of that stuff has
Has
already
already
happened off
happened.
screen,
Yeah.
which means we can get a Nightwing movie or series. We can have Red Hood pop up without having to wait 15 years for the time to pass and all of this. We can get Batgirl, Oracle, which can then lead into Birds of Prey or whatever. So there are some pluses to this. We do miss out on
If they do it the
being
right way.
Titans if they do it the right way. We
Because I
do
don't
in a
want a
way.
whole half a movie of Damien becoming the Red Hood. I don't want. I feel like they would have to show a little bit of that backstory before
Yeah,
actually moving it in. Just for then, that's just for the film verse, because not
right,
everyone's gonna know where Jason Todd came from or where the Red
right.
Hood came from.
Where the Red Hood came from. I mean, I'm not even the biggest fan of Red Hood, but like I know people love him. I know I'm not the biggest fan of Damien. I know people love him, and I'm also happy that we're getting a Batman and Robin. Even if the version that I remember when I read it was Dick Grayson was Batman and Damien. That was the
Mhm.
dynamic. You had nice Batman with asshole Robin, as
Yeah,
opposed to asshole Batman with asshole Robin. So it was a different dynamic. But it's gonna be interesting to see how they do this. This is another based on the
yeah,
Grant Morrison run, which was good. The first two volumes I read, that shit was really good. So they're basing it off of good stuff. And I think relying on Batman and Robin is another way to differentiate from Pattinson. Although I'm
mm.
not big on having two competing Batmen at the same
Yeah,
time, but
because they're continuing that run too. And
yeah,
I get it; it's gonna be Elseworlds, but still, why would you have them out at the same time like that?
it's
And just it does it's not as cohesive sounding as James
no.
wants to make it.
And I don't want the two actors for the same company against
Yeah,
each
I don't
other.
want
We've
them
done that
competing.
before. We've done that before with the CW. We've done it before, and it doesn't
Hmm.
always. But if they're both good, I mean, fuck it. It's like if it works, it works. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
um,
sure enough.
yeah. So, but that was a surprise for me. Now, what out of these projects that's been announced, what are you most anticipated from DC?
Definitely Waller.
Hmm.
I'm very much looking forward to that. The Supergirl movie coming up because that's supposed to be a horror film. Also, that and Swamp Thing. I think
Yeah,
those two have really good potential to pull people in if they do them the right way. Hopefully, he does. And the Authority, mainly because I don't know a whole lot about them at all. So
yeah,
give me some of these staple characters that I love and toss in some extra cool things on the side too here. And the Authority seems like they're going to do that. So I'm looking forward to it.
yeah.
And I do
Uh,
like that they're doing the Creature Commandos for the animators because for real, animated DC films have been kicking the DCEU's ass from the very beginning.
yeah,
The animated films be on point. So now we've got this coming in for a series, and
yeah,
everything actually is going to be cohesive and come together. So I like it.
yeah. That yeah, 7 episode animated series. That should be dope. Um, for me, most anticipated. I should have had this thought out. I'm looking at it now. I'm actually going to go with the Batman, Brave and the Bold. I'm going to go with Bat. Oh no, I take that back. I'm going to go with Superman. Most anticipated. I'm going with Superman first
Okay.
because I've been
What
waiting
do you think
for
they'll
a
pick for
decent.
Superman?
I don't know. I have an idea. It's the basic. It's the basic bitch answer because it's the one a lot of people's been saying. But it's an actor named David Cornsweet. He's a fairly not super unknown, but he's not like super famous. But if you look up some photoshops of him in the suit, he looks like Superman. He kind of looks like Cavill.
Ah,
He's tall. He's handsome. He's got
the jaw.
physical aspect. He's got the
Yep.
jaw. He's
the curly hair comes down.
He's got a certain vibe
Okay.
about him that I can see him pulling off a younger Superman. So I'm rocking with that one. I'm rocking
I
with
like
that
it.
one.
He's got the look.
Yeah, he's got the look. He's a capable actor. I think that's who they're going with. Batman is different because I was going completely different, but now that they're going with a seemingly older Batman with a kid, I gotta recalibrate my thought process because I'm working on a video. Yo, hey, what up, Cuba?
I definitely
What
don't
up?
think it should be Sir Friendzone like they
Who the hell?
did.
Oh,
Try
is
to
that
do it
the
in
old
the
guy on
Titans.
Titans? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's the other thing.
I like that actor, but I don't like him in
Yeah,
that role.
yeah, and that's the other thing with James Gunn. We see that he's willing to do whatever the fuck. So I'm hoping we're getting
True.
Batman Beyond at some point before Keaton gets too old. Hopefully, we will get a Teen Titans
I
movie
heard
because they
he's
canceled
not
the show.
coming back at all. They're not
Who?
gonna pull Keaton in for any of that.
Oh yeah. I've heard that rumor too. That all the cameo stuff that they had at the end of the Flash movie,
Yeah, a lot of it is
shit out of
pulled,
Yeah, they done pulled a lot of that. So that's gonna be
which kind of sucks
yeah.
because that was like a highlight for a lot of people. Was Keaton was coming in for to reprise that role, man.
Well,
But
that was the thing. They were gonna have Keaton come in and he's gonna train Batgirl, but they canceled. They shelved Batgirl. They're pulling Keaton back. So it is what it is. Maybe he'll be in Mobius 2 or whatever. I don't fucking know. Or the Sinister Six whenever they get around, whenever they get around to that shit over at Sony. But yeah, Batman. I'm anticipating as well. I'm gonna go with the Supergirl thing because I've heard nothing but good things about that storyline. And Lanterns. I'm gonna go with Lanterns. I mean, I'm digging all of it, but like in terms of most anticipated, I'm going Lanterns because I want to see what they do with the Green Lanterns. True detective vibes, buddy cop. Yeah, buddy cop type deal. That sounds dope as shit. Like I said, the only thing that's like at the bottom right now is Paradise Lost because we don't know what's going on with
they can mess that up so easily.
Yeah, we don't know what they're doing with Wonder Woman. The fact that they're letting Gal Gadot go is interesting because, like I said, I'm working on a fan cast video to fan cast the Justice League, and Wonder Woman is the hardest fucking person to recast.
Yeah,
because there's so many parameters you got to fit. If we're going age range, not age range, I don't know, but she was the toughest.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know exactly what era that's supposed to be in. So Gal Gadot actually surprised me. I did not think she was going to be a good fit for that role, but then I saw Batman versus Superman, and she was the best thing about the whole storyline.
She was one of the best things in that whole movie. Yeah. And then she kept going, and then they kind of dropped the ball, and
they dropped the ball on part 2. We ain't gonna talk about that. Like Bruno, we ain't gonna talk about that one.
Right. It is what it is on that one. But I'm looking forward to see what else old Jimmy Guns has because he said this isn't the end of chapter 1, which I think is a bit ridiculous. Like he announced like 10 fucking projects.
Right, like bro, how big is chapter 1 gonna be?
Right. He's like, well, we still got more stuff from chapter 1. I'm like, bro, let's call that shit chapter 2 at this point, man. I don't know what the hell
exactly.
Else.
Like come on, Jimmy.
Yeah, like I don't know what the hell else y'all got to throw up in here, man. Y'all got enough right here. But
yeah, definitely.
We didn't get any casting announcements, which they already said that wasn't going to happen, but we don't know who's staying and who's going. Like they're keeping some people, they're getting rid of some people, and that's gonna. I haven't been on Twitter that much. I know it's a goddamn civil war going on right now.
Yeah, I haven't been
I
looking
don't
at
know.
it too much either.
I don't know how the Snyder Bros are feeling. I got to look up on. I got to check in on them, see how they feeling right now, because I know they are super hurt right now. Um, no announcements, like I said, on Justice League Dark, which is like the magic version of the Justice League. But I mean, with things like Swamp Thing, I think we're gonna slowly build to it. Um, no video game announcements, which I'm not too surprised by because it's not really a
Yeah,
gaming focused thing. But once again, the fact that they're going to tie in the gaming stuff, I think is going to be really interesting
really
how
cool.
they're going to
Hmm.
keep that together. Games take forever to make, so
Yeah,
contracts
like
could
this, things could
fall out,
change
but yeah, things could
so
change.
quickly.
Yeah, things can change so quickly. So the gaming tying it into the games is a bit much, but let's see how that goes.
Yeah,
Um, Yeah, but that was the DC announcements. I think I'm satisfied. I'm not like over the moon,
me
but
too.
I'm satisfied with what they gave us here with this one. Some predictable picks, but also like I said, some off the wall stuff. But it's sounding good to me for the most part. I'm fucking with it.
Absolutely,
I'm fucking with it. Like
absolutely.
I can't wait to see
James
when
Gunn
we.
is one of those. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you good.
I'm saying James Gunn is one of those directors that I think we could always, expect decent things from.
Yeah.
And him spearheading this whole new DC film verse and trying to get everything to be as cohesive as possible, that's the right move. So he's looking good right now. Hopefully it
Look good right now.
continues. So
Yeah. And
yeah,
like I said, we've heard
we'll
something
see.
like this before, but
True.
James Gunn is someone who knows how to explain it to like the fan base as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
business people explaining it to us and they don't know exactly how to get us behind it. But I think he did a good enough
Yeah,
job with his presentation. And yeah, I'm like I said, I'm excited. I'm a big DC fan. They've been
mm-hmm.
struggling for the longest. I don't think they're gonna
Longest. Oof.
immediately. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna immediately overtake Marvel. I don't need them to overtake Marvel. I just need them to compete.
Yeah,
I
just
don't
give us good things.
just give us
That's
good
it.
shit
I like
and
DC just as much as I like Marvel, and I've been disappointed with a bunch of the films as they stand now. So give me something great, James,
yeah,
please and
yeah.
thank
Let's
you.
give us some good. Yeah, let's give us some good stuff, and let's take it one step at a time. Like I
Yeah,
said, I don't need them. I don't. Like, they gonna be on his ass though. If the first movie don't do decent, they gonna be on. People gonna be on his ass.
like
So
everybody's gonna come out there like the high school hall monitor, tapping all of
yeah,
our bruh. You
hmm
said.
yeah. You fucked up. Like this is not what we.
Mhm,
This is not what we paid for. You were supposed to
mhm.
take us
This
to the
isn't what we
promised land, and
agreed
this is
upon,
right. This
sir.
this was not the agreement, and
Because you
and
know
I'm
us
rooting
nerds be
for him
going in.
exactly. But I don't want to be looking at him and crying like this one right here.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
The facts. The
I don't want
facts.
it to be. I don't want it to be like that. I really don't. I don't want it
Right.
to
Like
be like that.
don't disappoint us, James. That's all we ask. Please. Please.
Yes. But I guess we're almost an hour. We can wrap this up. But
Yeah.
AK, let the people know where they can find you. Once again.
Well, if you're on tonight in about a half hour, you can head over to DJ One's channel, and I'll be chatting with him and Fandom D Saint about the last episode of The Witcher Blood Origin, season 1. Come
Y'all
through.
watch
It's
that.
been a fun ride. We did.
Okay.
We like it. I myself I liked it.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
so
not. Yeah. I'm not
it,
that deep into The Witcher. I haven't heard a lot of great things.
I'm a big Witcher fan.
I'll watch it when the new season is close to coming out, and I'll get in the Witcher mood and everything.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's in prequel territory. So, but it doesn't focus on just the main character that Henry Cavill played. It's way
right.
before his time. So, come check that out if you want to chat about it. And you can find me Sunday on my channel. I'll be watching the next episode of The Last of Us. You can watch along with me if you have your own HBO subscription. And then I'll be talking about it with Manic Meeks and Ian on Monday. Also,
Oh, y'all
I'll
gonna
let
do
you
that? You're doing that consistently?
yes, yes, for the rest of
Oh,
the season.
nice. Okay,
Yeah.
that's dope. Okay,
So
I'm gonna
definitely
check
come
out those.
through, hang out with us.
I'm trying to check out those when I get off from work. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, Brogi Naric, you on the channel if you're
Yes,
watching this.
thank you for bringing me on, bro. I
Oh
appreciate
yeah,
it.
no problem, no
Been a
problem.
while since we hung out.
Well, it ain't been much to talk about, and and all
True.
of that. So it's the beginning of the year, so things are starting to ramp up. You know how
Yeah,
January is. January is usually dry,
the
so
lull month, right? Yeah.
yeah, the long. So I've just been building, planning for stuff and all of that. But yeah, I'm glad you were able to make it through. It was very random. I usually like to give people ahead of
Mm-hmm.
time for my streams, but this is just one where I was just like, fuck it, let me just see who I can get on the fly. And I was happy you were free at the time to do so. So thank you
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
joining me. But yeah, Broken Dog, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all things, TikTok, all things Broken Dog. Thanks for watching. Once again, I'm going to be working on a big fan casting video for the Justice League. I've been working on this for a while, so I
I'm
wanted
looking
to
forward.
wait till I was waiting until we got all the information. I'm glad I did because I would have looked like a fucking asshole if I would have went through without knowing all of this stuff. So I watched some other videos. They're fine, but anyway. But thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more. And
Bye. Have a beautiful time.
okay, all right. I'm gonna end the stream right now.